Good morning. I am calling the Board of Fire Commissioners for Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District of May 22nd, 9 a.m. meeting. I am filling in for our chairwoman who is running a bit late. We will start out with a salute to the flag, and if the lovely people representing the VFW can arm wrestle each other, who's going to salute it for us? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and thank you for your service, and welcome home. Madam Clerk, can we have a call to order and a roll call?
Certainly, ma'am. Marcia Burke-Bigler, Chair, is absent at this time. Kitty Jung, Vice Chair.
Present.
Bob Lucy. Here. Vaughn Hartung.
Present.
Jeannie Herman.
Here.
Fire Chief Charles Moore.
Here.
Deputy District Attorney David Watts-Vial.
Here.
And I'm Nancy Parent, County Clerk. You have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item is public comment. Do we have anybody signed in for public comment? Oh, view speakers. I got it. No speakers. Anybody want to speak under public comment that didn't fill out a form? Okay, we are closing public comment and bringing it back to item number 4, which is the Commissioners and Fire Chief's announcement. Mr. Fire Chief, do you have any announcements?
Madam Chair, I do not have any.
Fire Board Commissioners? I'll start down here. Commissioner Herman? Okay. Commissioner Hartung?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to acknowledge that I happened to see this, that you guys are now doing Next Door, which is a nice outreach, Chief. That's good. And it talked about open pile burning. I think that's a great way to reach folks. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Lucy?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Couple things I want to bring up. First, had the opportunity to participate in the it's a local 2487, right? That's our new.
Yep.
2487. Thank you. God, I'm still getting adjusted. Local 2487 and the Washington County Sheriff's hosted the Guns and Hoses golf tournament for the Northern Nevada Children's Cancer Foundation. I want to put a thank you out to John Stevens and all their e-board team and all the staff at the local 2487 that put together the adult golf tournament. They raised a significant amount of money this year, probably one of their biggest years for Northern Nevada Children's Cancer Foundation, which was huge. So that was and to hear the stories of these kids and these families that suffer from childhood cancer is just heartbreaking. So what a great cause these guys have done, and so a big round of applause to all the participants and the guys that put that together. Secondly, I had a discussion with some people about the green waste program. There is some issues that I want to look at, Chief. I know up at the Joy Lake Station, there are landscaping companies that are now taking advantage of our green waste dumping and dumping trailers of green waste up at our fire station, whether it's pine needles or whatever that they're cleaning up there. But these, instead of driving it all the way to the dump, they're dumping it at our green waste for our disposal. So we need to figure out a way to probably properly manage that, because that really is a service that we're providing for the citizens to do fire protection, but not for companies to utilize Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District as a resource for us to haul their stuff to the dump for them. Somewhere better, because it is such a great program and it is a benefit, I'd like to see it continue on, but I'd like not to see it be abused by people out there. And secondly, I did have some issues, and some people reach out to me about the concerns about when we relocate Station 14, and for my residents on Virginia Foothills, towards the back of Toll Road, when we relocate 14 to Foothill, which continues to service that area, are we going to reallocate kind of time maps, because that's going to change our response from 14 to Virginia Foothills. So I'd like to sit down with you and kind of look about how we're going to dispatch it, whether that's going to come from 36 at Arrow Creek, if that's going to come from East Lake in, or if that's going to come from 14 and head into, because that's kind of that Virginia Foothills is kind of a, real no man's land and challenge. And because Reno 12 is the closest. And once again, we got to continue to have that discussion with Reno and our other entities about joining forces. If we're gonna do automatic aid for EMS, there should be automatic aid. For fire, there need to be automatic aid for EMS. We need to have that discussion. And because that road is so far, if 12 is going to be closer now, we need to have that discussion. So I'd like to bring that back and just kind of have that being that we're moving 14. And that's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Commissioner Lucy. Any other announcements, Chief?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, take it away, Mr. Chief.
Item 5 is consent items for possible action.
Does anybody have anything they'd like to pull out of consent for further questions? If not, I would entertain a motion. I have a motion by Hartung, a second by Lucy. If nobody signed up for public comment, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Please consult that you agree. Mr. Fire Chief.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 6 is the IAFF Local 2487 report for discussion only, and President Satterfield is here to give you an update.
47 President, for the record. Got two things to announce this morning. The first one actually is a little bit sad for us. Unfortunately, I have to announce officially the cancellation of the kids camp this year. And with that, I really want to put a heartfelt apology out from me as the president to all the kids that I know were looking forward to it. With that being said, the kids camp team right now is in the process of revamping the camp. They're working hard and they're in the planning phase to make it so that as we move into the future that we don't have to cancel it again like we've had to this year. I'm not going to get down into the weeds or the details of why we had to. If you have any questions or concerns about it, feel free to get a hold of me on that. The second announcement is to pigtail off what Commissioner Lucy was talking about in regards to the golf tournament. So this year, between the Washoe County Sheriffs and Local 2487, we partnershiped, and this year was the largest year. We had over 170 golfers. I could only ask Bob if you had to wait at certain holes, because I'm sure the course was busy. It wasn't like prior years where you could just golf through. So I'm sure there was quite a bit of heckling going on in between as people were waiting. But with that said, the prize list was amazing between John and his efforts, as well as the Washoe County Sheriffs and their efforts getting prizes. The raffle was amazing, and so were the prizes for the tournament. They did raise just over $30,000 for the Northern Nevada Children's Cancer Foundation. And just to reiterate what Commissioner Lucy stated, the cause is amazing. If you ever do get a chance, go down and visit them in their office. The money that's raised and what it goes for it's all stays here at home for the kids here and the families here. A lot of them have to travel to Northern California for their treatments. So, when you see the smiles on those families' faces and those kids, it really rings true of what the effort there is for. So with that, that's my two announcements, unless you guys have any other questions for me.
Commissioner Lucy?
Thank you. I got to say, I'm really heartbroken to hear that we're canceling kids camp. That's a bummer deal. That was such what a neat camp for so many kids, and I know Commissioner Hartung and I and all the commissioners really have been involved in that, and so that's disappointing. And hopefully whatever whatever the cause was or reason for that, that'll be worked out, and next year we'll have an even better camp for kids. You know, with that being said, I think you guys have done a great job, and it's sad to see these things, but I mean, what an extra time, and for all the staff, the time that you guys put into it and volunteer to put into it, is amazing, and it really does make a difference for a lot of kids in the community. And it brings, there was an article that I read the other day that we're not focusing enough on skilled trade and really bringing individuals in, and I think really firefighting and EMS and life support and in public service is truly one of those trades out there that kids don't know enough about, and how amazing the trade is and how amazing the job and the career can be. And you guys make it fun, and you make it interesting, and you make it life real for them, and bring that reality to them. So I think that's important. Secondly, on the golf tournament too, I did get the opportunity. It was a wonderful tournament. But I got to play with Deputy Chief Gorgon, and so and we got to spend some time together. And really, it was some quality time that him and I got to meet and interact. But it is not just a golf tournament to raise funds for a charity, but it really does create a brotherhood between our EMS people. The deputies that are out there are interacting and interchanged with our firefighters. There was Reno Fire, North Lake Fire was there, Sparks Fire. We had Reno Police Department, Reno City Council was there. I mean, it wasn't just, and it was a really a good group of individuals that just focused on EMS and how we can develop that relationship. Because really, realistically, to me, the problems that we have in between the entities about fire and EMS service is at this level. It has nothing to do with the guys in the ground, and you guys make it about just making sure that people are safe every day. And I saw that in real life when I was at the golf tournament, just how you interact as individuals. It didn't matter whether you were firefighters or sheriffs or police or what entity you were from. It was all about that brotherhood and that cohesive nature of you guys working together and just having a good time and for a good cause. And I think that directly correlates to how you take it into the field. And so I want to thank you. I think that golf tournament is just so much more than just a golf tournament. It does really, truly capture who you guys are as individuals and what you guys stand for. So thank you.
That's cool. Thank you, Commissioner Lucy. Any other? Yeah, Commissioner Hartung.
Just a factoid, Commissioner Lucy wore 2 pair of pants, just in case he got a hole in one. I'm only allowed 2.
Anything else? Commissioners, you're hilarious. Thank you so much.
you.
I'm only allowed 2.
Mr. Fire Chief.
I'm counting.
Part one.
It's going to be a long day, dude.
That's hilarious. Did you go?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 7 is presentation of awards by VFW Post 10053 with Service Officer Scott Wilcox, also joined by Danny Waltrip. Not to steal, come on up, gentlemen. Not to steal any thunder, but I'm pleased to announce that this year we're honoring 2 volunteer firefighters. And after the award, I'd like to say a little bit about what these 2 volunteers did for the district last wildland season.
Great. Mr. Wilcox, Service Officer Wilcox.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for allowing me to come here again today. And I want to thank the commissioners for supporting us, and I want to thank Chief Moore, Sandy Francis, the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District for teaming with us to be able to recognize people. Every year, the VFW supports safety awards for firefighters, EMTs, and the Sheriff's Department. And it's always an honor for us because I don't think they get enough recognition for what they do. And especially this year, we got 2 volunteer firefighters that, you know, along with their regular life, they're doing this, and that means a lot. Volunteering is big, giving back to the community. So without further ado, I would like to present to, and if I get these names wrong, please forgive me. Tyler Adelkin. Close enough. And Dave Walliser. Pleasure, sir. And if you guys could turn around here when, Tyler? Dave? And Tyler, along with that comes a check for $100. Thank you. Dave, congratulations. Thank you for your service. And for you. Thank you, Chief.
Dave, come on back. I just wanted to say that last year's wildland season, as you recall, was very, very busy for us. And these two gentlemen, Dave Walliser is associated with Silver Lake 221, and Tyler Eldricken is associated with Lemon Valley. These two gentlemen did a lot of work for us last year in response, and it's important that the public knows just what kind of effort that they put forward. It was a yeoman's work. They were there for a lot of our major calls. Very, very proud to have people like this in our department, and just wanted to say congratulations to them.
Congratulations, gentlemen. Yes, Commissioner Hartung?
Thank you. And with respect to our volunteers, gentlemen, I'd just like to personally thank you. Washoe County could not perform all of the duties that we do every single day without your assistance and others like you. So thank you so much for giving your time. It's an integral part, and it's an honor for us to have you in our Corps. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody else? And thank you, VFW Post number 10053, for your annual service with this. We look forward to it each year, so thank you. Come on, Mr. Chief.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 8 is badge pinning for Deputy Chief Lisa Beaver. It's my pleasure to formally introduce Lisa as our new deputy. She runs the Fire Prevention Division. Very, very smart and very, very qualified individual, and she's has done so much work in just the short time that she's been here. I can't tell you how thrilled I am to have someone of her qualifications lead fire prevention. So it's my pleasure to present her with her badge, and her mother, Beverly Lindholm, will pin her badge.
Oh. Cuties. I know.
And try not to injure her, but we do have paramedics.
Cutie.
Can we just do it like that?
Yep.
Just hold it.
Beautiful. Mom, would you like to say something?
No, just that I'm very, very proud.
She's very proud of you, and I'm proud of you too. It's great to have a female as a deputy chief.
All right, coming back up here.
Okay. It does, I know. Don't have the names. You're so lucky. So luckiest man.
I need to turn this back on. One moment. Item 9 is the fire chief's report for discussion only. First item is Verdi Fire Protection Update. I've been talking to Chief Mike Brown, who's still been actively helping us with the issues there. I'd like to host a community meeting again for Verdi citizens to talk mostly about wildland fire protection. As the board may recall, in Santa Rosa, it was a city neighborhood that was lost. As we look in Verdi, they have growth there that's probably 30 years old, and some sagebrush that's probably as tall as Commissioner Hartung or taller. Some growth that's 30 years old. What Verdi, in my opinion, needs to do is to come together as a community and develop a CWPP, which is a Community Wildfire Protection Plan. When they complete that, then they're eligible for grant funds. And we can use those grant funds to come in and help harvest some of the excess green waste, dispose of it. But they have to have a CWPP in order to be able to do that. Thing two, we have identified a lot through our consultants, a parcel. And I am hearing from, talking to Dean Dow at REMSA and also the Forest Service, that they have an interest in eventually locating a facility there. We have an interest of rebuilding our volunteer station. So when this parcel becomes available, we've already made contact with the owner, and I don't really want to say where yet, but it's in a great location. It's a flat lot. My vision for then is to have a Forest Service presence, REMSA presence, and then our volunteer presence there. That'll be a long-term project, but nevertheless, I'd like to make an announcement to the community at that point. So I'm looking at probably early or middle of June to host that meeting. If any of the commissioners would like to attend, I certainly will invite you. But that is it for Verdi Fire Protection.
I have a question, Chief. Is there any way that we could ask the developer that's building the McMansions right to the west of Verdi to help with cleaning up the brush?
Sure.
I don't know who their lobbyist is, or I can find out for you, but I think that that would be a community goodwill effort on their part that they would like to participate in.
Certainly reach out to them, yes.
Okay, great. Commissioner Hartung.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Chief, you mentioned a CWPP, that's the Community Wildfire Protection Plan. What's involved in that? What's involved in putting that together?
It really is a grassroots plan. It really is community-based, citizen-based. They look at the risks. They look at what needs to be cleaned up and disposal, and really come together as a group of who's going to manage green vegetation. We apply the standards that are common in the industry, the best practices towards lots. Even go through lot by lot and say, here's a lot that shouldn't be this way, and create standards of what needs to be harvested and removed. So it really is all about creating defensible space in that plan, and then coming forward with a document that the Board of County Commissioners would adopt. And from that plan, then we can apply for some money. And I will say that there is federal money coming from a new grant process. So I don't want to let time slip away here. So I really do need to get the community involved in this. This is not something that the fire district will prepare for the Verdi community, although we will certainly assist. But it really does, to be effective, it really does need to come from the community.
Interesting, okay. And I think that there are a number of communities that could benefit from at least the base structure, an outline, as it were, of what that plan could look like, and whether it's the communities in South Reno near, Arrow Creek and those communities, and out by Montreux, all the way, of course, out north.
Sun Valley.
Sun Valley can use one. Spanish Springs can use one. Palomino, Winnemucca. I think it's the genesis of a good thing in the region. So
Right.
It'll be interesting to see what they look like and what the outline looks like, and how we need to prepare and try to not only adopt those kinds of plans, but get some federal assistance. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Any other questions for that? All right. Mr. Fire Chief.
Item 9.2 is a Station 14 update. We are very, very close to receiving our CO if we haven't received it already. I think we're within a day or two. We should be operational the week of June 12th, and I'm looking for a grand opening sometime in early July. And Commissioner Lucy, I'd certainly like to reach out to you as to an acceptable date to make sure that you'll be in town. But we'd like to get operational for a month and then host something for the community to come tour it. I think you're going to be very, very impressed with the way that it turned out. It's beautiful on the inside and the outside, and it's certainly in a better position for the district to be able to serve its constituents in the Holcomb Ranch area and surrounding areas, both north and south. Item 9.3 is green waste update. I wanted to address a little bit about Commissioner Lucy's concerns about Galena. That was actually on purpose and a deliberate coordination through the Galena homeowners to take their green waste, and instead of taking it to the landfill, we were involved in taking it to full circle composting so it can get turned back into soil. So I was approached by the Homeowners Association for some assistance. We used Station 39 as the staging point for the collection. They hired a contractor to pick up, but most of the heavy lifting really was citizen-based, homeowner-based. They cleaned up their yards, they bagged the waste, they left it curbside, and the contractor brought it to our station, and from there, we processed it, reduced it in volume, and then trucked it down to Carson City. I estimate that we removed close to 800 cubic yards of pine needles and cones and branches, which is a significant amount. I mean, it was a pile that probably could have filled this room. So the citizens there did an amazing effort. I've been contacted now by St. James Village, who saw the tremendous effort that was there. It was like, we want a part of that too. So we'll be working with them later this fall. And so what I'm really trying to say is that our green waste program is picking up momentum to a significant degree. BLM just hosted a Junk the Junipers event, which we held at Silver Lake. And I'm told that almost 150 truckloads of green waste were brought for chipping. So we're really starting to see this program take off. And it's my intent in future budget years to strengthen this with not only more programs, but more people. And so we're looking at a seasonal, well, maybe not even a seasonal crew, a full-time crew that could be able to do these projects in the early summer and the late fall, and then also be wildland firefighters during the summer. So very, very pleased with the results thus far in what we've been doing. And we did open up open burning for this last weekend for the reason that fire danger was relatively low. We had about 40 or 50 people fill out burn permits. Some citizens contacted me to say, look, I've got such a small amount of sagebrush, it really isn't effective for me to be able to take it to a station due to time and distance. So we did open this up at the request of citizens, but we are closing now open burning for the season until we get to November, and if there's an opportunity based on fire weather to open up open burning again, we will do so. Nevertheless, we're trying to shift the momentum from burning to green waste collection over the long term. Any questions on
Any
that?
questions on that, Commissioner?
Thank you, Chief. Well, I appreciate the clarity on that. I just want to make, like I said, I think the Green Waste Program is making leaps and bounds. And I mean, I've heard nothing but positive things from individuals in Hidden Valley and also up in the Galena area. I just want to make sure that what we're doing, and as long as we're doing it in conjunction and we're doing it for the benefit of the community, and that's really what the intent is, to make sure and do a true fuel reduction. I just don't want us to become a transfer agency for landscape companies. That's really what I don't want to see.
Right.
Is that because I don't want the goodwill of tax dollars being spent for fuels reduction to become to the benefit of a few individuals. This is really truly for fuels reduction and make sure that we're focusing on helping the individuals in the areas in which we're offering it. That's it. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Understood. And then finally, Madam Chair, item 9.4, launch of TMFPD next door. Commissioner Hartung alluded to that, but we put our, no, that's all right. We did create a presence on Nextdoor. We've been reaching about 42,000 people
Wow.
on that, and answering a lot of questions about green waste in our department, and I'm very, very pleased with the feedback. Lots of praise, few complaints, and so I'm very, very pleased with our presence there. And finally, 9B, district statistics. If the board has any questions about our statistical summary for the month, I'd be glad to answer them.
Any questions, Board of Fire Commissioners? Nope. Okay. Mr. Chief, thank you for your report. Let's go on to item 10.
Item 10 is discussion and possible approval of the annual performance evaluation for Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District Chief, including but not limited to discussion regarding results, goals, and objectives, and amendments to the terms of the fire chief's contract based on the evaluation to include possible changes to compensation and benefits. Dina Wiggins, our district HR administrator, will give you the summary.
Great.
Good morning, Dina
morning.
Wiggins, HR Administrator, Truckee Meadows Fire. The item before you is the annual performance evaluation for Chief Moore. The annual performance evaluation is a requirement in his contract. Last March 20th, the board approved a list of evaluators to do a 360-degree evaluation. The survey opened April 13th and closed on May 3rd. 17 respondents participated in the survey, which is about a 61% respondent rate. Overall, the respondents indicated that Chief Moore meets or exceeds the requirements in all key performance indicators, which include leadership, problem-solving, decision-making, community relations, board relations, and relationships with other county departments, as well as professional knowledge. The survey is attached to your board packet. Additionally, we finished up a compensation study in early this year to evaluate the salaries and total compensation of other fire chiefs up here in the Northern Nevada region. And what we determined was his base salary is approximately 9% higher over the second highest paid fire chief. So I'm happy to answer any questions at this point.
Great, thank you very much, Ms. Wiggins. Commissioner Herman? No, Hartung?
No questions for her, just comments.
Okay, any questions? Do you want to go to your comments now, Commissioner Hartung?
Chief, I think you've done a great job. You've been very responsive. In last season, you had your hands full. There's no question of that. And I just wanted to thank you for all of your hard work, and I look forward to more years of service. And that's all I have right now, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Lucy?
Thank you. And I have to share in Commissioner Hartung's sentiments is that, I believe Chief Moore has done a phenomenal job for us at TM. His ability to be relatable and the access that he provides, direct access from himself to all the community constantly, while running one of the largest departments in the area, the second largest departments in the area, over 1,000 square miles. And you got to think, it's not just TM that he oversees. He also oversees operations in Gerlach currently, and helps the county with the Gerlach operations, and also oversees the volunteer programs and works with all the volunteer chiefs, and has done that and been very effective in revamping and making sure that everybody is kind of going in the right direction and for the benefit of the citizens. So I've seen nothing, and then to continue to add services and adapt to the needs that this area has been innovative and impressive, to say the least. So in my opinion, Chief has done a phenomenal job. I'm happy to continue to have him as our chief as long as he'll have us, and he has fulfilled all of our goals that we've put forth for him in regards to succession planning and making sure there's prevention and growth, and really I think there has been tremendous, and they've heard nothing but positive things. So thank you.
Any other discussion or comments? I have a couple. Most importantly, thanks for always asking my texts going, why is there smoke in the west near Bird Eye? Or why is it so smoky today? Because I actually get those phone calls from people that are eyes and ears, making sure that they're, that we're safe. So I appreciate you for always getting on that. And I have to tell you, when I was out at Sun Valley for the cleanup that the Summit Church did with their 350 volunteers, your firefighters brought an engine down, which of course the kids love, for the carnival. And it is so different than when we first stood up this fire group, 2487, than it is today. And that is, every time I get a chance to talk to your firefighters, I always say, how's it going? What's new, what's exciting, what's the issues? And they were grinning ear to ear that everything's great. They love your leadership. They love your new deputy. It's a complete change of the emotionality because it was difficult to go through that divorce. But you've definitely come through, and I can see it with the way they talk, and they have no reason to not tell me the truth as well. So I appreciate you for that. And then what I really love that you bring is the National Weather Service to give us these really important forecasts and really educate us on the climate and how it's changing and how we need to change as a firefighting crew as well. So I appreciate you, and I have no criticism. Your results are great here. You can't make people answer if they don't want to answer. You can send the survey to 500 people, and right, who wants to sit down and fill it out. So I appreciate you, Chief. And at this point, what is the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am, Commissioner Hartung. Yes, sir. I called you ma'am. Sorry, that was
all
a
good.
compliment. Sorry.
So, Dino, about the chief's compensation, he's about 9% higher. Does he get COLAs currently?
He does get COLAs.
does, okay.
That's all he gets.
Well, you know, and this is not a criticism or spoken in the pejorative about what the chief has done, because I think we all agree that he's done a phenomenal job. But I think, you know, given our financial situation, we are flat right now. I think that I think the status quo is appropriate.
You okay with that, Chief? Is that a motion, sir?
It is, Madam Chair.
And that's a second, Madam Chair.
All right, is there any public comment on this issue? I don't see any. Anybody, would you like to public comment? Okay, I'm closing the public comment. Bring it back to the board. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Burke-Bigler en route. Did you push your first and your second? I did. Okay. Will you vote it for me? I'm a yes, because you're Kitty Jung. Thank you. All right, please confirm your vote. And that motion carries. Thank you, Madam Clerk and Commissioner Lucy. Item 11, Mr. Chief.
Item 11 is discussion on possible approval of amendment number 3 to the employment agreement between Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District Board of Fire Commissioners and Charles A. Moore, which will extend the term of the employment agreement from June 30th, 2018 to December 31st, 2022 for possible action. I would just like to say that I'm blessed to have a wonderful crew. They make my job easy. My job isn't particularly easy, but nevertheless, I'm blessed with having 2 new deputies who are really on the ball and a great staff who are engaged with the community and have a great sense of community service. So I would be pleased if the board would have me for another 4.5 years. My plan is to stick around. And then after that, I don't know.
Any objection or
Madam Chair,
motion?
Madam
Yes.
Chair, I'll make a motion to extend the chief's contract to December 31st of 2022.
I have a motion by a motion by Lucy, second by Hartung. Any further discussion or public comment? I heard you first. No public comment. So all those in favor signify by saying aye. Confirm your vote. And that motion carries 4-0 with Burke-Bigler en route. Item number 12, congratulations. Welcome aboard, sir, and thank you for agreeing to stay a little bit longer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 12 is discussion on possible action to approve the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District to pay workers' compensation heart and lung claims invoice dated January 26, 2018 from the City of Reno in the amount not to exceed $59,978.54 per the Reno TMFPD interlocal agreement, subject to review by our independent actuary. Ms. Vance will present this item.
Okay, Ms. Vance.
Good morning, Commissioners. Cindy Vance, Chief Fiscal Officer, Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District. This is our third quarter invoice for the heart and lung claims from the city of Reno. We're still working with the city and our actuary on some different items related to the invoices. This invoice is for $59,978. Our current liability to the city of Reno has been over $100,000. So we have been continuing to pay on the claims that we are in agreement with and working with the city on the other claims. So we would like your permission to go ahead and accrue this invoice, make the payment if our actuary comes back and says that it is within our liability, and then pay the amount that we do not have an issue with, that we agree that is our due.
Questions for you, and that is Commissioner Hartung? You're just playing with the buttons over there. Okay. Okay, great.
There's definitely,
Commissioner, if
Are
you
you on
intend
him?
your comments to be on the record, we need your
oh,
microphone.
I'm sorry, Madam Clerk. I mean, it's, heart-lung issues are well-known, and,
Yep.
this is an agreement that we need to hold true to. What we owe is what we need to pay. Thank you.
Is that a motion?
It is indeed. Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Hartung, a second by Lucy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Vote on your screen. Is there any public comment on this? I don't see any speakers, Madam Clerk, do you? Okay. All those in favor signify, we already did that. Please affirm your vote. And that motion carries 4-0. Burke Bigler is en route. Mr. Fire Chief. Are you on?
Yes.
Thank you.
Discussion and possible approval to award request for proposals 18-002 for the construction of 2 mobile water supply fire apparatus on district-owned cab and chassis to Midwest Fire Equipment and Repair Company at $197,648 per unit for a total award amount of $395,296. This item is for 2 new water tenders. The district purchased the chassis previous year. There were some issues with those chassis. They were not ordered with electronic stability control. So we had to add those at a moderate cost, but nevertheless, we're looking for a vendor to actually build the water tank and the pump. And so we will transport our chassis back to Minnesota and have them constructed and then bring them back, probably for next wildland season. Unfortunately, it'll take about 9 months to build these, so we'll be looking at the winter for delivery.
Great. I do have some questions for you. Commissioner Lucy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chief, on these, like you said, now we have these chassis and the cabs here in Reno?
We do.
We do have them. And so we've paid for the chassis and the cab, so the $197,648 per unit is just for the tender and the equipment to use the water tank, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so it's just the equipment. And when we ordered the chassis, did we get reimbursed because they incorrectly built them, or was there any kind of?
It was a staff oversight that the chassis were not ordered with electronic stability control. It wasn't very.
It was our error. It was not on their end.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Hartung.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Where will these be housed, Chief?
I don't know that right now, Commissioner Hartung. I know that Station 16 is in need of a new water tender, and there's probably, the other one will probably go north somewhere. But nevertheless, they're spec'd with as much horsepower as it can possibly put on an engine. And so we want to put these where we're most having to climb grades. So I know that we earmarked Station 16, but I'm not sure about the other one.
Good. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions? What about public comment, Madam Clerk? I don't see any here. Okay. I would entertain a motion. I have a motion by Hartung, a second by Lucy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And vote on your computer. Please confirm your votes. And that motion carries 4-0 with Commissioner Burke-Bigler on her way. Let me open the public hearing. And Mr. Fire Chief.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This will be the last time that you'll adopt a Sierra Fire Protection District budget. You're adopting it for $0, but it is silly as that seems, it's necessary for the state to see a three-year running budget for the district. So fortunately, this is the last time that you'll have to do this. So item 14 is discussion and action on the Sierra Fire Protection District tentative budget. Should be final budget.
It's the tentative budget to adopt into the final
Your name for
budget.
the record, madam?
Cindy Vance,
Thank
Chief
you.
Fiscal Officer.
Sorry about that. Let me start over. Discussion and action on the Sierra Fire Protection District tentative budget, including possible changes and/or action to adopt the final budget for fiscal year 2018-19. This item may be continued on Tuesday, May 28, 2018 at 9 a.m. For further follow-up. So Cindy, take it over.
Any questions? I would entertain a motion. There is no public comment here.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
since this Sierra Fire District is something that Chief Moore and I worked on when I first got on the commission 3 years ago and finally got that taken care of, it would be my honor to adopt the final budget or make the motion to adopt the tentative budget for the fiscal year 17-18, with possible changes to the final budget.
I have a motion by Lucy, a second by Herman. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and vote on your screen. Please confirm your vote. Commissioner Hartung is having technical issues. His computer just locked him out. So if we can
I
get some.
assumed you were voting in favor, and I cast your vote for you, Commissioner Hartung?
He said yes.
Okay.
Okay, can you confirm your vote up here? They're coming down here stat. Okay, that motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Burke-Bigler on her way in. Item 15, Mr. Chief.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 15 is discussion and action on the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District tentative budget, including possible changes and/or action to adopt the final budget for fiscal year 2018-19. This item may be continued on Tuesday, May 29th, 2018 at 9 a.m. We don't have a lengthy presentation for the board. We did give the board at the last meeting the budget highlights. Cindy Vance will give you just a very, very brief overlook of the budget, and the clerk does have some supplemental information to hand out to you. That is a cost center breakdown and a staffing schedule.
And Bobby's. Bobby's went down too. Oh, yep. So, any questions here, fire commissioners, for the TMFPD tentative budget? I know you're,
No, Madam Chair, I have no questions at this time.
okay. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
They
while-
can't mess with their stuff, Madam Clerk. So I have a motion
yeah.
by Hartung,
Second by Lucy.
second by Lucy. Any public comment? Hearing none, bring it back to the board. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and press it on your screen. Mine just went down.
Yeah, they all went down.
Thank you. Mr. Fire Chief, did you get that, Madam Clerk? That was 4-0 aye, correct, commissioners?
Yes.
Commissioner Herman? Yeah. Thank you. I got kicked out too, guys. Got tired. Okay, that ends our public hearing. Mr. Chief, do we need a closed session for labor issues?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, we will be, so, Mr. Wattsfield, how do we do that
I don't know what happened.
when I adjourn?
So you can go ahead and go forward with items 17 and 18, and then at 16, you'll need a motion to go into the closed session. And then we can go into the closed session following the BCC meeting, then we can have the session, and then we'll open the doors
Yeah,
and
that's
call
fine,
for any
yeah.
other public comment, and you can adjourn.
Okay, great. Item 17.
Item 17 is Commissioners' Fire Chief's announcements, requests for information, topics for future agendas, and statements relating to items not on the agenda. I do have one announcement, Madam Chair. In talking to Commissioner Burke-Bigler, Chair Burke-Bigler, we have been discussing possible expansion of the district's boundary northward. When you look at township, the township line, it divides Palomino Valley right in half, so one house can be in Truckee Meadows, receive service. The other, on the other side, north of that line, can receive service but doesn't pay any taxes. So it seems logical that we expand the boundary northward. And in talking to Chair Burke-Bigler, there's some interest in wanting to present to the full board a possible expansion of the district boundary into Rancho Haven and the Red Rock area. And so that process will, of course, include some presentations to the citizens to receive their input. And so I'll be bringing that item back to the board next month to start at least a preliminary discussion about that.
Great. Do any commissioners have any announcements?
Nothing
Okay,
further.
I hear none. We'll go to item 18, which is our final public comment. Is anybody signed up for public comment? Madam Clerk?
No, ma'am.
Okay, closing public comment. So we will be in recess to go into a possible closed section for to discuss labor issues with Truckee Meadows Fire Protection Department later after the Board of Commissioners meeting, and we will then reopen and then adjourn the meeting.
Madam Chair, we do need a motion for that.
I have a motion by Hartung, a second by Lucy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are in recess and we'll return at 10 a.m. for our regularly scheduled Board of County Commissioners meeting. Thank you very much.